On the ravaged battlefield, desperate human survivors sift through bodies in the hopes to find relatives clinging to life. Tibbs, familiar with battlefields, see the scene as his crops to be harvested. He instructed everyone to take anything resembling a value back to the Citadel. Weapons, rations, and usable armor were among some of the coveted items the people brought back. Meanwhile, the wives and widows found a tavern and kitchen in disarray from neglect. It appears to be the only place where a few dozen mercs could unwind and have a meal. To their chagrin, the survivors discover a meager cache of edible supplies. At best, they had a few weeks of food. Water wells were also vandalized as a means to deter the new inhabitants. Tibbs knew the heart of the Citadel was the technology installed by the builders. He donned on the special cybernetic gloves to see if he could link up with the system core. The Great Calamity was over 2,000 years ago. The world is in paradox. Incredible leaps of technology and feats of science produced wonders, but very few people to build, maintain them. The population shortage resulted in neglected havens surrounding a highly advanced headquarters or tech center in these wizard citadels. Every wizard needs data to feed their automated systems. Hence, libraries of ancient works of long ago were cherished prizes in today's culture. Balaam's library was smaller but still significant. Ariel, stepdaughter of the wizard, Sabian, knew this as well, so she immediately took to the library to uncover what she could about Balaam. Ariel scoured the library. Meanwhile, Volgara guides Brom through the war-ravaged of the Citadel grounds. She recalls her memories of her childhood here.
Brom, these walls and lands were a place of innocence for me. Balaam adopted me before I could speak and walk, let alone understand the monster who he really is known to be. I ate well, had a roof over my head, and was tended by a variety of nannies. I was told how great and wonderful my father was, and how he protected us all from the savages outside these borders. I would play hide and seek with the mercs who knew I was the wizard's daughter. I would stay late up at night to hear the tales of the various adventures they spun in the tavern. I learned to read and write in the library. It all seemed normal until I was about 12 or 13. As a rebellious teen, I would occasionally wander outside the Citadel grounds to explore the world on my own. One such time, I found myself in the countryside a mile or so from the Citadel. I distinctly recall feeling out of sorts. I wasn't nausea, but my senses were reverberating from within, as if I rolled down a hug hill. Father brought that feeling on recently when his hypnosis kicked in. Clouds gathered above me, darkened, and it started to rain. Thunder erupted, and soon after lightning struck. I became terrified. It seemed the rest of the area was unaffected, except me. The storm clouds were chasing me. My anxiety fed the storm fall like an unnatural fuel. I ran screaming and almost made it to the gate when a bolt stunned me unconscious. I awoke in my bed with Father at my side. He really seemed worried, and for the first time I thought he really did care for me. It wasn't but a few hours later when he started asked about the details. He wanted to know everything. What I was eating, what I was wearing, what I was doing. It was an interrogation. I told him everything I could remember. He then went away for days on end. No idea why, but Father took me outside the walls and asked if I could do it again, make the storms come out. Odd, but I tried. Different places he put me. He put things in my hands, stick, rocks, and slimy toads. He tried to see if he could bring out the clouds himself, but it failed. For days we tried everything. He was getting visibly frustrated. Eventually he threw me to the ground and called me useless. It was then my emotions overwhelmed me, and I sobbed. That feeling erupted easily again, and my anxiety fueled the fire in the sky. Father danced in the shower when he discovered my secret.
Vol, when I first met you, there were bodies of your father's mercs killed. Clearly you were not yourself. How did you go from a father student to a wanderer, with no memory except to find a woman?
I was in a fog. Balaam did something to me. I don't know what, and it terrifies me. The last thing I remember was some kind of ceremonial dance. By the three spirits. Brom, I think I am married.
Brom almost fell over. He gulped hard and opened his mouth.
The images are distorted. A great ballroom. Lots of distinguished guests. My father doting on me as if I was a prize. Repeat after me.
He kept saying.
A young sorcerer. A great contest. Ugh, I am dizzy, Brom. I must sit down.
The two took rest and reflected on the revelation for a while. Volgara is clearly still affected by whatever her father did to her. Brom's mind raced. He escorted his exhausted friend to her quarters. He knew it was urgent and that he must speak with his parents.
Rest, my friend. I will be back soon. Brom insists Vol take a rest. The surviving humans makeshift camp inside the citadel walls. The barracks of the former residents were uninhabitable at this time. Dusk gives way to evening, and Brom returns to his folks with news of his day.
My friends, we have much to be thankful for. However, Ariel and I have pressing matters to address. Can you fortify these walls for a while, until we return?
Thundar is concerned for Brom's loss of memory. Ookla was like an uncle to him when growing up. Ariel hands Brom her summoned staff. It will exist as long as I draw breath, but it is subject to magic effects. It can also stream fire like a dragon. Use it wisely, son. Brom hugs his mother warmly. It will be my honor. Get some stew and rest, Brom. I must be sure you can protect these people. You can ask more questions then. Thundar left them to retire for the night. Thundar rose with the dawn to start training. Thundar knew the day would come when Brom the sun dies and Brom the barbarian rises. However, he shares more with his mother than he does himself. Thundar watches intently on Brom working his attacks on wooden dummies. The father had a different vision in mind for Brom, but the Lords of Light had other plans. Meanwhile, Ariel interviewed Volgaras so they can organize a search plan for Balaam. Vol recalled her father was secretive and revealed few things to her. However, some of his work was in the library. Volumes showed Ariel the command quarters. The room had a worn table, scattered maps, and strategic plans. Balaam was planning another raid, this time on arrival. After training, Brom insisted he'd travel to find Balaam with his father. He thought his training performance was proof enough of his courage. Thundar scowled and left with Ariel. Traveling was long and arduous. Amidst the skeletal remains of the citadel, Volgara and Tiberius search for anything that can fortify the walls against attack. Volgara was distracted or deep in thought. Something was tugging her from within. She wandered outside the citadel in a haze. As the defenders continue to build, a mysterious onlooker follows the pair in the distance, remaining just out of view. Volgara scans the horizon, feeling for a signal in her mind calling her. She was not afraid. Could her father be calling her to him? Volgara stands defiant at the foot of the volcano, a solitary figure against the backdrop of nature's raw power. The air stings with the acrid scent of sulfur, a constant reminder of the destructive force simmering beneath her feet. The volcano's imposing presence mirrors the inner turmoil that threatens to consume her. A battle against Balaam's lingering influence. She confronts her past, ready to sever the chains of destiny that bind her to darkness. Responding to an enigmatic summons, Volgaras' every stride resonates with purpose, carving a path through the very heart of uncertainty. Volgaras stumbles upon a serene grotto nestled at the volcano's heart, where sunlight paints the scene with ethereal beauty. Bathed in radiant light, a crystal-clear pool glistens the area, a fortunate respite for those who dare travel near an active volcano. A lone young woman, a vision of ethereal beauty, seems to emerge from behind the lush greenery in anticipation. Creatures small and large treat this place as a haven from the hostile savagery beyond. How such a scene is preserved from corruption is a mystery.
Hello? Do I know you?
There you are. Hello, my dear. Welcome to my pool. Yes, it was I who called you. I also detected your father trying to follow you, but I hid you when you were close enough. Volgara, is it?
Volgara staggers back. The resemblance is undeniable. The connection too familiar. The truth takes hold. Can it be? She said.
Yes, Volgara, my dear child. I am your mother. To protect you from his growing madness, I entrusted you to a human caravan, hoping they would raise you in safety, far from his reach.
A human caravan. The village. Now I remember. Natalka. She raised me as a mother. But the raid.
A flashback rushed upon her. A young Volgara frolics among human children under the watchful, loving gaze of her adoptive mother. Suddenly, the peaceful village was under siege. Balaam's forces surrounded them. Like relentless wild dogs, they harassed the people and eventually took down defenders. They ravaged the place. Amidst the pandemonium, Volgara was seized by heavily armored soldiers. She recalled Natalka dying with her last breath to save her. With sorrowful eyes, Endora reveals her plight. I am bound body and soul to this grotto, Volgara. Nothing short of a miracle can break my curse. Endora explains the condition for her release. The only way I can leave is if my spirit is contained within a beautiful jewel, one capable of holding me.
If you can find a suitable jewel, I can leave and we can stand up to your father. My time is short, as this volcano may erupt and close my opening to the world.
With a renewed sense of hope and purpose, she sets out to return to the citadel. Miles away in the heart of a hidden cave, shadows of routed and demoralized beastmen skulk about. Their leader told them this is the place where they can regroup when needed. The instructions were clear. Guard the Mok with your lives. Fail me and you can join the angry Mok in his cell. The mercenaries grumbled, but obeyed. The credits he gave them were payment enough to babysit a lone Mok in a cell, much safer than a battlefield.
A figure sits by a swamp edge, in dejection. He releases a deep sigh, as if a great loss was taken from him. Instead of crafting another scheme or contingency plan, Balaam lets the silence enshroud his mental state. A flashback he long forgotten took shape and spilled into his being like a fresh brook from a mountainside. The days of youth were always a struggle. However, Balaam was cunning and curious, even though the village elders frowned these traits. He recalled campfire tales where all gathered round to listen to elders speak of mighty wizards ravaging the countryside with untold powers and armies of great number. These raids drove them to find a haven or face extinction. One day Balaam was chasing a deer to bring back to feed his clan, but stumbled into a large cavern. The entrance was idyllic to behold.
What am I doing? My people need this place, and I am holding it hostage for myself. I could be regarded as a savior and, in time, even village elder. So why am I not running home to tell everyone about this paradise?
Why are you so dull and glum?
Startled, he nearly fell into the babbling brook. The woman behind him giggled.
I was expecting, well, something more from you. It has been days. Can you even talk?
The two enjoyed their company together. Endora was always bright, joyful, bubbly, and delightful to be around. Balaam spent more and more time with her. She told him a grumpy greenskin used to live here and would try to capture her, but she was smarter than that. She eventually found his manuscripts. Even though she couldn't read, she knew they were important. Balaam learned the magic arts from this tome. As with all things, a pivotal decision arrived at the sorcerer's doorstep. Bring his village to this safe haven and live out life with Endora, creature of long life connected to this oasis in the savage world. This tale, though compelling, will be weaved another time. Needless to say, Endora was heartbroken as he gazed into the sickness of wizardry.
At dawn, Thundar and Ariel discover a beastman camp. This must be where Balaam retreated. Now it is time to gather the others. A plan was hatched to rescue the old Mok. The men would distract while the others infiltrate and rescue Ookla. Brahm insisted to lead a charge. He didn't want his father captured again. Thundar scoffed at the notion but enjoyed his son's bravado. Tibbs and Ariel were designated infiltrators. Enemy soldiers loom menacingly outside the cavernous prisons. Hopefully their duty was short-lived, where can return to the comforts of a fortress. The captain of the guard demanded discipline as the rank and file were losing hope that Balaam would return at all. Some even suggested he died. Under the cloak of night, the barbarians strike the outer camps, yelling and instilling fear among the resting beastmen. Ariels burned some tents before delving into the caverns for Ookla. Energy weapons illuminate the dim, confined space, painting stark shadows as the air crackles with a palpable, desperate tension. Silhouetted against the eerie glow of the moonlit sky, enemy soldiers struggle to enclose the raging barbarians. The exhausted group returns of the underground caverns of the base of the Beastmen. Thundar and Brahm sow mayhem among the sleeping mutants. Explosions erupt, engulfing the battlefield in fire and smoke. Howls, anguishing cries, and barking orders resonate the surrounding area. Amidst the pandemonium, chaos reigns as the true purpose of the battle unfolds, concealed beneath the surface of raw conflict. In the heart of winding tunnels, Ariel and Tiberius creep with quick but muted pace. Danger lurks. The weight of each step is amplified by the oppressive silence as they navigate cautiously, avoiding lurking patrols. The air hangs heavy with anticipation as they remain alert, with every shadow seemingly poised to betray their presence. Rounding the tunnel bend, Ariel and Tiberius are confronted by a patrol of beastmen, the air thick with impending conflict. Arcane energy radiates from Ariel's hands as she unleashes a devastating blast of magic, illuminating the tunnel with an eerie glow. Tiberius, swift and resourceful, turns the harsh environment to his advantage, tripping and disorienting the monstrous adversaries. The tunnel echoes with the sounds of a brutal clash, each moment a desperate struggle for survival. In the claustrophobic confines of a narrow passage, a duo presses forward, the oppressive stone walls closing in. Each breath becomes a desperate struggle as the air thickens, weighing heavily on their lungs, threatening to suffocate their hope. The specter of being trapped looms large, driving their movements to the brink of frantic desperation. In the cavern of denizens, the air hangs heavy with the stench of damp earth and unspeakable horror. As Ariel and Tiberius face the grotesque abyss, pale, writhing creatures emerge from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with a hunger that chills the soul. Echoes of hisses and guttural snarls reverberate through the cavern, forming a terrifying symphony of dread. Bathed in an unsettling dance of light and darkness, Ariel and Tiberius steel themselves against the horrors that surround them. The prison cell block looms, a stark monument to despair, as they finally arrive. In the depths of his cell, Ookla is a shadow of his former self, looking defeated and frail. Two hulking beastmen stand guard, their imposing figures a constant reminder of Ookla captivity. In the oppressive prison cell block, Tiberius cunningly impersonates the leader's voice. His audacious act creates a diversion, pulling the guards away from Ookla's cell. The success of the ruse hangs in the balance as Ookla's fate teeters on the edge.
There you are, Ookla.
With a surge of will, she unleashes her magic, dispelling the enchanted lock that holds Ookla captive. The enchanted lock shatters into 1,000 glittering fragments, signaling the liberation of the giant Mok. The cell door swings open, revealing the towering figure of Ookla, now free from his magical prison. Confined within the cold embrace of Ookla's cell, his towering form falters, barely sustained by fading strength. Ariel, a beacon of agility and resolve, channels arcane forces, her focus unwavering. Ariel's magic. A shimmering cart appears. A weary Mok sits on the cart construct, and to Tib's surprise, he could pull Ookla easily through the corridor. The prison dungeons behind them, Ariel, Tiberius, and Ookla steel themselves to find an escape route quickly and quietly. Beastmen erupt from the shadows, giving chase in fury. Kill them all!
The three press on. Ookla, I can give you a boost, but it won't last.
They all groan as the formidable expanse is ahead. They may have to turn and fight, or be pushed into the searing hot magma pool.
Ookla, you should be able to stand and fight. The cart will dissolve, so I can bathe you with energy.
Guided by magic, a shimmering bridge of solidified light materializes, defying the chasm's fiery depths. She builds a light bridge, hoping it withstands the magma heat. In the collapsing tunnel, dust and debris rain down like a haunting omen as the very walls groan under the crushing weight of impending doom. With faces grim and resolve burning bright, they navigate the treacherous path, dodging the relentless cascade of falling debris. Each step is a gamble, each breath a testament to their unwavering will to survive the tunnel's wrath. Deep within the earth, an underground river carves its path, a hidden artery beneath the world's surface. With his profound grasp of the tunnel's secrets, Tiberius unveils a concealed passage, a gateway to the unknown. As the concealed passage opens, a soft glow emanates, hinting at mysteries and untold stories that lie ahead. At the threshold of the final chamber, the air crackles with anticipation as the path to the surface is barred by Balaam's formidable forces. The chamber echoes with the silent promise of a battle that will determine their fate. In the heart of the final chamber, a storm of steel and magic clashes as Ariel, Tiberius, and Ookla stand as beacons of defiance against encroaching darkness. Tiberius, a bulwark of strength and strategy, counters every assault with calculated precision, his presence a stabilizing force in the chaos. Ookla rises with his newfound energy infused into him. A Mok in a berserker state is terrifying to behold. Together, their combined might forms an unbreakable wall, their unity a beacon of hope against the encroaching shadows. After their subterranean trial, Ariel, Tiberius, and Ookla emerge from the cavern's mouth, the sunlight glinting off their weary but triumphant faces. Ariel, with a sigh of relief, raises her gaze to the sky, relishing the warmth of the sun after the cold darkness within. Tiberius, ever the stoic warrior, scans the horizon, ensuring their hard-won victory remains unchallenged in the world above. Ookla's primal roar. Victory, raging barbarians. The exhausted group returns to the makeshift camp, burdened by the weight of their mission and supporting the faltering Ookla. A grateful nod from Ookla ignites a spark of hope among the weary survivors, signaling the success of their daring rescue. The camp erupts in a chorus of cheers as smiles bloom on weary faces, celebrating the triumph over adversity and the return of their comrade. In the heart of the makeshift camp, flickering firelight casts dancing shadows, painting a somber tableau of the group's mounting dread. Ookla, his brow furrowed in grave concern, his voice a mere whisper, reveals, "Balaam's plans extend beyond what we initially believed." The air, once alive with laughter, now hangs heavy with tension as Ookla warns. There's a new threat, something far greater on the horizon. Against the vast expanse of the sky, Thundar and Brahm begin their ascent into the craggy mountain range to find where Volgara went. Brahm finally locates Volgara returning home. She explains her encounter with Endora. Brahm is skeptical, but he offers a solution to getting Endora from her grotto. Brahm gives his prized gem to Volgara, his mother's diamond heirloom. Thanks to Brahm, Volgara returns to the volcanic grotto, clutching the jewel as instructed by her mother. Endora is pleased to see her daughter's return. They share a refreshing drink from the grotto. Endora's form becomes a mist which settles on the gem and seems to evaporate. However, her voice is heard as if she was still there. "Well done, daughter. Let us leave this place."
Will you ever come back, Mother?
This grotto may not always be here, but since you partook of it with me, I will always be with you, my dear.
She snaps back from her paradise. The others must wonder where I have gone. Time to return. In the heart of the ancient temple, Ariel and Tiberius venture into the dimly lit interior, their forms illuminated by the soft glow piercing through the aged stone. The air is thick with the scent of dust and forgotten lore, as ancient artifacts line the walls, their shadows seeming to whisper secrets of the past. Cryptic symbols etched into every surface mock their quest, their meanings lost to time, as Ariel and Tiberius desperately seek a clue to defeat Balaam. The air hangs heavy with tension, yet their collective spirit remains unyielding, a beacon against the looming darkness. Balaam's forces emerge, an overwhelming tide of darkness threatening to engulf the last bastions of resistance. The air crackles with raw power as Thundar and Balaam engage in a furious duel, the echoes of their weapons clashing, resonating throughout the fortress. On the blood-soaked battlefield, the humans groan as the fearsome elite guard advance through a weak volley of ranged weapons. They give a hard look to their leaders, hoping they can do something. The battle for supremacy lies at the main gate. The humans lost the basic ramparts and had no time to set up any wall defenses as they confront Balaam's bloodthirsty forces. In a maelstrom of steel and fury, the battlefield becomes a stage for sacrifice and valor, as heavy losses mount on both sides, painting a grim tableau of war.
Balaam, you may be my father, but have you forgotten of my mother? Endora wants a word with you.
Volgara, with fierce determination, channels her powers to unleash her mother from the confines of the diamond. In a pivotal moment, Volgaras brings forth the diamond crystal containing Endora. Her form quickly dissolves into a white mist and zips through the air to Balaam. On the ravaged battlefield, Thundar and the other look on. Balaam teleports from the assault on Thundar and his defenders upon hearing those words. "You little witch! How dare you spew lies about?" Balaam unleashes tendrils of dark magic, casting sinister shadows that slither across the ancient stone floor. "I should have let you rot with that human wench." From the diamond in an aura of azure, the lady of the grotto, Endora, comes forth. "That is enough, Balaam." The throne area crumbles from the two magic users' powers. One burns for justice, and the other seethes with hatred from a past long since denied.
It ends now, Balaam. The grotto needs a new lord. I choose you to be its forever soul.
On as Endora stifles Balaam as her shouts in disbelief. His power negated, Endora envelops him in a watery prison and vanishes. With Endora and Balaam materialize at the grotto. "What have you done, Endora?" She laughs. "The grotto needs its guardian, and now that I am free, I give it to you. Isn't that wonderful?" Balaam's screams echo, trapped forever. With a horn of retreat, the assailing forces of the wizard succumb to fear. The rallying cries of emboldened humans echo in the region. From the ashes of despair, survivors rise, their cheers heralding a new dawn of freedom and unity. Weary faces are painted with the vibrant hues of celebration, yet etched with the indelible marks of sorrow, as laughter mingles with silent tears. Against the backdrop of a ravaged landscape, the survivors, their faces a canvas of resilience, embark on the monumental task of rebirth. With hands hardened by adversity, they tenderly sow seeds of hope, each a symbol of their unbreakable spirit amidst the scars of yesterday. The scale of the challenge looms like a specter, yet their resolve remains unyielding, a radiant beacon illuminating the path forward in this scarred world. In the heart of the forest, Thundar and Brahm engage in a training session, their movements echoing a sacred dance of protection. With each parry and thrust, the bond between father and son deepens, forging an unbreakable shield against the encroaching darkness. Their practice embodies skill and knowledge, crucial for safeguarding their world from impending threats. Tibbs has news in regards to the Citadel Command Center. Balaam tried to destroy the memory banks, but there is some data that can be recovered. Ariel delicately solders a wire onto a circuit board. Tiberius, his brow furrowed in concentration, meticulously studies a holographic schematic. A group of powerful beings met with Balaam. One of them was on the way to see him. Arda. Ariel cannot fathom what attention the defeat of Balaam has brought. He was a serious prospect in the Council of Wizards. The mention of a powerful sponsor, Arda, is of great concern. The Citadel is far from being a secure dwelling, but with sweat and determination, humans may have a second chance in survival. Volgara, a solitary figure atop the mountain, surveys the rebuilt world, her gaze reflecting a newfound serenity. She may have lost her father, but she found her mother. She will learn what her heritage is and what it entails. She expects more trials to test the mettle soon.